The Amazing Digital Circus is more than just an animated pilot. It is a profound existential allegory, a digital prison reflecting the human condition. Each character is not simply an individual, but an archetype representing different ways we cope with the absurdity of existence. 1. Pomni, the avatar of existential dread. Pomni embodies the shock of realizing that life may have no clear meaning or escape. Her desperate search for an exit reflects the universal human quest for purpose in a world that may offer none. She represents raw anxiety, the terror of free will, and the burden of consciousness. 2. Jax, the mask of cynical detachment. Jax embraces absurdity with sarcasm and cruelty. His humor is armor, his nihilism a survival strategy. He represents the part of us that hides behind cynicism to avoid disappointment, pretending that nothing matters while secretly fearing the same despair as everyone else. 3. Ragatha, the mask of toxic positivity. Ragatha is forced optimism. Her smiles and reassurances are not signs of innocence but of necessity. She symbolizes the survival instinct to repress despair with relentless cheerfulness, holding the group together even at the cost of her own truth. 4. Kinger, the collapse of sanity. Kinger is the mind shattered by trauma. His paranoia and obsession with chess pieces are a futile attempt to create order in a meaningless world. He represents what happens when coping mechanisms fail, leaving only fragments of reason. 5. Zubul, the voice of frustration. Zubul lives in a state of constant irritation and dissonance. They are angry at the system, at the absurd rules, and at their lack of control. They embody the raw honesty of frustration, refusing to wear the mask of politeness that others use to cope. 6. Gangle, the fragility of emotion. Gangle's broken comedy mask reveals the sadness beneath. She is vulnerability itself, the struggle of maintaining joy when suffering inside. Her fragile mask symbolizes how easily the expectation of happiness can shatter, exposing deep emotional wounds. 7. Cain, the absurd architect. Cain is the creator of this digital prison. Powerful, enthusiastic, yet blind to suffering, he represents a system that imposes endless distractions while ignoring true despair. He can be seen as a god, a capitalist machine, or the indifferent universe itself. Conclusion: the circus as humanity. The digital circus is a metaphor for life. Pomni is the search for meaning, Jax the cynicism, Ragatha for smile, Kinger the collapse, Zubul the anger, Gangle the sadness, and Cain the indifferent architect. Each character wears a mask, a survival strategy against the chaos. Together they ask us the final question: in the circus of life, what mask do you wear? And what happens when it breaks? The Amazing Digital Circus became a viral phenomenon, and why fans love Pomni and Jax. The Amazing Digital Circus is not just another animated pilot. It exploded across the internet because it struck a balance between absurd comedy, striking visuals, and deep psychological undertones. At its core, the show resonates with millions of viewers because it captures a universal human feeling, being trapped in an unpredictable world and trying to survive with whatever coping mechanism we can find. One of the key reasons for its viral success is the contrast of tones. The show combines colorful, surreal aesthetics with unsettling existential dread. That duality, fun on the surface, despair underneath, creates a unique atmosphere that feels both entertaining and deeply relatable. Viewers see not just characters, but reflections of themselves. This blend of dark humor and psychological depth made it instantly stand out among countless other online animations. Another reason is the strength of its characters. Every character is exaggerated yet symbolic, embodying real human struggles. But among them, two figures clearly captured the audience's imagination: Pomni and Jax. Pomni, the every person of existential crisis. Pomni quickly became a fan favorite because she is essentially us. She enters the digital circus confused, terrified, and desperate to understand what is happening. She represents that raw moment of panic when we suddenly question our reality, our choices, or the meaning of life itself. Her fear, her anxiety, and her frantic search for a way out are painfully relatable in an era where so many feel lost in routine, disconnected, or overwhelmed by societal pressures. Fans sympathize with her vulnerability. Unlike other characters who already wear coping masks, Pomni is still unprotected, her nerves exposed. Her constant dread and desperation are not just played for laughs, they echo the real experience of modern existential anxiety. This makes her both tragic and endearing, a character audiences root for because they see their own reflection in her. Jax, the charismatic cynic. On the other end of the spectrum, Jax became popular for almost the opposite reason. Where Pomni trembles, Jax laughs. Where she panics, he mocks. Jax's charm comes from his unapologetic cynicism and dark humor. He has accepted the absurdity of the digital circus and decided to treat it as his playground, even if it means tormenting others. Audiences are drawn to him because he embodies a kind of rebellious honesty. While his cruelty is undeniable, it's also refreshing in a world where everyone else is desperately pretending to be fine. His sarcasm, confidence, and ability to manipulate situations make him magnetic, even if he's dangerous. Jax represents the voice inside many people that says, if life is meaningless, why not just enjoy the chaos? The dynamic between Pomni and Jax together, Pomni and Jax highlight the two most common human responses to existential dread, fear and cynicism. Pomni shows us our vulnerability, the side of us that trembles when faced with meaninglessness. Jax shows us our defense mechanisms, the way we mask that same fear with sarcasm, cruelty, or indifference. Fans are fascinated by this contrast. It feels authentic, like two sides of the same human coin. The trend explained. Ultimately, the Amazing Digital Circus went viral because it offered something rare, a show that is visually absurd and funny on the surface, but layered with deep psychological symbolism underneath. People share clips because they are funny, but they stay invested because the story resonates with their own anxieties, their own coping strategies, and their own struggles with identity. And within that circus of ideas, Pomni and Jax stand out as the emotional anchors, one trembling with despair, the other smirking in defiance. They are the characters audiences can't stop talking about, because they are the ones who hold up the clearest mirrors to ourselves.